Hello, my dear students. Today, let us discuss about the 5 classic components of a computer. A computer is an electronic device which accepts digital information from the user, processes it according to the sequence of instruction, and provides the processor information back to the user. Every computer is composed of two basic components, hardware and software. As you know, this hardware refers to the physical and visible components of the system, such as monitor, CPU, keyboard, mouse, etc. The software refers to a set of instructions which enable the hardware to perform a set of tasks. So it includes the features that is responsible for directing the work to the hardware. So the software can be divided into two: application software and system software. So through the software, the user is interacting with the hardware. Now let's look into the software components of a computer. As we said, we'll be having two types of software: application software and system software. The application software allows to perform a specific task on a computer using capabilities of computer. Different application software are needed to perform different tasks. So for doing a particular task, we should have a particular application software. For doing the typing or for doing the documentation, we may have the word processors. Likewise, or for doing the calculations, can make use of calculators, right? So to do a specific task on a computer, we can have a application software. Then let's look into the system software. System software operates directly on hardware devices of computer. It provides a platform to run an application. It provides and supports the user functionality. System software includes editors, assemblers, linker, loader, compilers, interpreters, debuggers, and operating system. Compiler means it's a program that translates the high-level language statements into assembly language statements. Assembler is nothing but a program which translates the assembly language program into the binary version. And an operating system interfaces between a user's program and the hardware and provides a variety of services and supervisory functions. And it is used for handling the basic I/O operations, allocating the storage and memory, etc. Examples of operating system: Linux, iOS, and Windows. Let's have a differentiation between this hardware and software. Hardware, as you know, it is the physical and visible components of a computer. It can be divided into four main categories: input devices, output devices, secondary storage devices, and internal components. So these physical and visible parts of a computer can be called as a hardware. Software is further divided into two main categories: application software and system software. As you know, the software is nothing but a set of instructions, right? So this application software, we can have the word processors, Excel, PowerPoint, etc. And we can have system software like Windows, Linux, etc. Now, the hardware, it is developed using electronic and other materials. When damaged, it can be replaced with a new component. Whereas our software, it is developed using some instructions, using a programming language. So this, as we know, this software is nothing but a set of instructions, and they are developed using a programming language. When anything happened to this, it can be installed once again using a backup copy. We can replace it. Hardware is physical in nature, and hence one can touch and see the hardware. The software cannot be physically touched but still can be used and seen. Hardware cannot be infected by viruses, whereas the software can be infected by viruses. Hardware will physically wear out over time. Software does not wear out, but it can be affected by bugs and glitches. An example for hardware: hard drives, monitors, CPUs, scanners, printers, keyboards, etc. Example for software: Windows, Linux, Google Chrome, Gmail, Java, word processors, etc. Now let's discuss about the various levels of program code. We can have three levels: the high level language, assembly language, and the binary language. The high level language provides the higher level of abstraction, and the binary language provides the lower level of abstraction. The high-level language is a programming language that allows the programmer to write the programs which are independent of a particular type of computer. The high-level languages are considered as high-level because they are closer to human languages than machine-level languages. And these languages are having a simple syntax. Okay, and we need a compiler to convert this high-level language to low-level languages. Okay, so a compiler is required to translate a high-level language into low-level language. Fine. Now let's discuss about the assembly language. The assembly language contains some human-readable commands such as move, add, sub, etc. So these instructions can be called as mnemonics. Okay, so this is an extended form of machine-level language, which is known as assembly language. Since assembly language instructions are written in English words like move, add, sub, it is easier to write and understand. But the computers can only understand the machine level languages. So we need a translator that converts the assembly code into machine language. Okay, so that translator can be called as assembler. So this assembler translates the code in the assembly language to the binary language. Okay, so this binary language is the machine level language that consists of a set of instructions that are in the form of zeros and ones. Okay, so as we know that the computers can understand only machine instructions which are in binary digits, that is 0 and 1. So the instructions given to the computer can be only in binary codes. So we need to convert these programs into low level language or the machine level languages. Okay. Okay, now let's discuss about the components of a computer. The five classic components of a computer are input unit, output unit, memory, data path, and control, with the last two sometimes called as the processor. The processor gets the instructions and data from the memory. Input writes the data to the memory and the output reads the data from the memory. The control unit sends the signals that determine the operations of the data path, memory, input and output. The data path is the component of the processor that performs arithmetic and logic operations. Input unit is used to provide data or information and instructions to the computer so that it can perform the processing on data or information according to the instructions given by the user. So these are electromagnetic devices which accepts the data or information from the user, and they translate it into machine understandable code which is understood by the computer. Okay, and the type of the data entered in the computer through the input unit depends upon the input device used by the user. As you know, mouse is a pointing device, whereas through the keyboard we can enter alphanumeric characters. So the type of the data entered in the computer depends upon the type of the input device. It is through the input unit that the user communicates with the computer. In this way, it serves as a link between the user and computer. So a computer accepts the data in two ways, either manually or directly. Keyboard is used to enter data manually by the user, and scanner is an example to enter the data directly into the computer. Some other examples for input devices are joysticks, trackballs, mouse, scanners, microphone, webcam, trackball, etc. Now let's look into this output unit. The output devices are used to display the result of the processing done by the CPU on the input provided by the user. So it is used for displaying the result of the processing done by the processor. The output generated by the CPU is in coded form, and so it cannot be understood by the user. So this output unit translates the coded output from the machine language to the human understandable high level language. The output may be displayed on the monitor or printed on a paper or listened through speakers. So various output devices are monitor, printer, plotter, speaker, etc. LCD or the liquid crystal display is a display technology using a thin layer of liquid polymers that can be used to transmit or block light according to whether a charge is applied. Active matrix display, it is a liquid crystal display using a transistor to control the transmission of light at each individual pixel. Central processing unit is the key component of a computer system. It is known as the brain of the computer, which contains the circuitry necessary to interpret and execute the program instructions. It performs fundamental arithmetic, logic, input and output operations, control circuits that follow the program fed in the computer. The common CPU components are control unit, arithmetic or logic unit, registers, cache memory, buzzers, and clock. The leading manufacturers of CPU are AMD and Intel. The major types of CPU are classified as single core, dual core, quad core, hexa-core, octa-core, and deca-core processor. Dual core means it is a single CPU that comprises of two strong cores and functions like dual CPU acting like one. So it consists of two cores and they functions like two CPU acting like one. In the case of quad core, it designs with four cores on a single CPU. So it divides the workload in between the cores and it thereby enables the effective multitasking. So a given task is divided and that can be done with the help of this four cores, and that is it can enable the multitasking process. Similarly, we can have hexa-core, octa-core and deca-core processor. The control unit is responsible for interpreting the instructions provided by the user and directing the sequence of operations accordingly. So the instructions given by the user is interpreted by the control unit, and this control unit generates the control signals accordingly. So it uses direct the entire computer system to carry out or execute the stored programs and instructions. So this control unit generates the appropriate control signals to direct the entire system. CPU does not perform actual processing on data, rather it controls and coordinates the overall functioning of the computer system. So the control unit first instructs the input unit to transfer the raw data and instructions to the memory unit. Then it sends to the ALU unit for processing. In ALU unit, it performs the arithmetic or logic operations. It processes the data. Then the processed data is sent back to the memory unit for temporary storage. Then from the memory unit, the display unit displays the result of the processing through the output unit. So in this way, it ensures that the required information is transferred between memory unit, ALE unit and input-output devices in the desired sequence. The arithmetic and logic unit is where actual processing on data takes place. It can also be called as data path. So this data path block actually performs the processing of the data. It performs arithmetic and logical operations on the data, and it also controls the speed of these operations. So it performs the four basic arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Then the three comparative or logical operations like greater than, less than, equal to compare numbers, letters, or special characters between the data items. And then it can also be used for performing the logical Boolean operations such as and, not, or. And all these operations are carried out at very high speed. Now let's discuss about the memory unit, the unit where the programs are stored when they are running. It also contains the data needed by the running programs. So it is the storage area where the programs can be kept. It is basically of two types, primary memory and secondary memory. The primary memory can also be called as main memory or internal memory. It holds the instructions and data currently being processed by the CPU, the intermediate results produced during the course of calculations, and recently processed data. While the instructions and data remain in primary memory, the CPU can access them directly and quickly. The memory or the main memory is built using DRAM chips. DRAM stands for Dynamic Random Access Memory. And multiple DRAMs are used together to contain the instructions and data of a program. So this main memory holds the instructions and data currently being processed by the CPU. The major functions of main memory are holding the data and instructions for the task assigned by the input device before processing, holding the intermediate results while processing, holding the data and instructions after processing unless they are transferred to the output unit, holding the programs and instructions from secondary storage device, and holding complex programs like OS operating system. So the main function is to hold the data and instructions for the task before processing, while processing, after processing, and to hold the programs and instructions from this secondary storage device, and also for holding the programs like OS. This primary memory can be of two kinds, random access memory RAM and read-only memory, that is ROM. Cache memory is a special very high-speed memory which is used for storing frequently requested data so that they are immediately available to the CPU when needed. So it is a high-speed memory because it is very closer to the CPU. Okay, compared to the RAM and ROM, this cache memory is very closer to the CPU, and so it is a very high speed, but it has very small memory. This small memory or this high speed memory usually stores the frequently requested data so that they are immediately available to the CPU when needed. And it is used to speed up and synchronizing with high speed CPU. This cache memory is costlier than main memory or disk memory but economical than CPU registers. Cache memory is an extremely fast memory type that acts as a buffer between the RAM and the CPU. Secondary memory can also be known as external memory or auxiliary memory. And this memory is required to supplement the limited capacity and volatile characteristics of primary memory. So this secondary storage memory is a non-volatile memory which is used to store the data and instructions permanently unless erased by the user or till the damage of the storage device happens. They are used to maintain a backup of important files and data. This memory is less expensive and has much larger storage capacity compared to primary memory. So this storage capacity of secondary memory is very large and it is very less expensive when compared to the primary memory. Some of the secondary storage devices includes hard disk, pen drive, CD, DVD, memory cards, etc. So in this video, we discussed about the 5 classic components of computer system. Thank you.